Alright everyone, welcome back. This is game number 2 between Genius and TAiLS. This time we're on the map Terminus. TAiLS switching colors now, going with orange. We have got in the 6 o'clock position here of Terminus, Genius as the red Zerg player, and TAiLS over here as the orange Terran player in the 3 o'clock position. And once again, we are on the map Terminus. This is game number 2 here between Genius and TAiLS in the series between these two players. Genius winning last game. I would say the biggest thing really is two things. TAiLS wasn't really aggressive enough, and even though he did manage to snipe the natural expansion of Genius, I think he should have kept up that dropping much more consistently. That would have hurt Genius and made it more difficult for him to make the transition he did. The other thing, and the really good thing on Genius's part, is he was just able to defend himself and buy enough time dumping all of these resources into some heavy upgrades. I mean, he literally, at the 20-minute mark, he was pumping out with the massive amounts of Ultralisk. So with that said, that obviously means that his army was fairly lackluster up until that point, but he was able, with the small amount of force that he did have, to just defend himself just enough to work up to those upgrades, and that was absolutely beautiful by Genius. And again, unfortunately for TAiLS, wasn't aggressive enough and didn't spot that transition in time. And also another big problem that I made note of last game was that TAiLS just lacked upgrades in comparison to Genius. Genius had fully upgraded Ultralisk, as upgraded as you could get. He had all the weapons, all the armor upgrades as well, and TAiLS was only sitting at 1-1 with his bio at the start of the engagement, so that's certainly no match whatsoever. TAiLS right now looks to be doing a 1-Rax expand again. We saw 1-Rax expand from him last game, and it does appear like he will be doing that same build order this game. So coming out with just Marines and bunkers for early defense, and this is something that will be scouted out by Genius as Genius moves into the main of TAiLS. He will spot no refinery, and right away that is a dead giveaway to the fact that yes, a 1-Rax expand is in order. The one thing that he does want to check for is a second Rax, because it could be 2-Rax aggression into expand. But as we can see, there is only that one barracks in play. Back over here, Genius coming out with that hatchery. That is about 50% of the way finished. Looks like he did go extractor first into pool, and again, that is going to allow him to get those upgraded speedlings very early on. As soon as that spawning pool does finish, TAiLS just kind of sitting there idly, but nothing really to see at the moment. He's scouted the extractors, he's scouted the timing on that pool, and he also knows that that expansion is coming on through. Now, TAiLS looks like he did manage to take out that one drone, and he's transitioning, ooh, double refinery right away before he comes out with any additional racks. Now that is interesting. That's going to tell us, of course, that he is going straight into a factory. If you're going to be going straight bio heavy early on, a lot of times what you will see is 2 additional racks and then going 1 or 2 more refineries. But as we can see here, TAiLS decided instead to go double refinery right away, and this is implying to me that he might be going mech heavy. Now there's that expansion as we expect. Down over here we do have the Marines. We'll be trying to prevent any additional scouting from Genius, and we will expect a bunker to get placed down over here as well. Back over here, SCV getting chased down by these 2 Zerglings. Zerglings, unfortunately, not quick enough at the moment to be able to actually catch up. Metabolic boost is coming on through. First Queen over here in the main, just about done. Natural Queen is up. And that's it. Going to be sticking with those 2 queens at this stage in the game. And is he still mining with 3? Yes, he is. He has still got 3 drones here on this extractor. So he's sitting there fully saturated with that. Will be being prepared to work his way up into layer tech. Back over here for TAiLS, we can see 2 factories. And that is kind of what I expected with that double refinery. We're kind of expecting that mech transition from him. So it does appear like we will be seeing Hellions. I will be interested to see if on that second factory, if he decides to come out with a tech lab, so he can go for those blue flame Hellions. That would certainly be interesting indeed and could be very effective. Bunker is up, just sitting with those 2 Marines at the moment. Here comes the tech lab right on this Rax. There is the reactor factory right there, and that is of course allowing him to produce those double Hellions early on. That's going to give him a little bit of map control in the early stage of the game. Now we can see Genius deciding to come out with a Baneling's Nest, so it does appear like he will likely be going Speedling Baneling Muta this game. Muta is very effective on a map like this as opposed to Dual Sight, which was the map that we were last on. This map is so large and there's so much airspace for those Mutas to just kind of dance around, whereas on Dual Sight, very small, very tight map, and makes Muta harass not quite as effective. That doesn't mean it's impossible to be effective with it, but it's not quite as effective. Now hold that thought, however, because it does appear that we're not just seeing a normal Speedling Baneling composition teching up into layer tech, working up into mutas. No, 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 my friends. He is going early on for a strong Speedling Baneling hit. You can see he's massing up those Speedlings. He's got some Banelings morphing in over here. We do have some Hellions moving out for some map control and some scouting. However, they're about to encounter a lot of Speedlings, and let's see if they can get that full surround. Trying to work their way on up, surrounding that one Hellion. We'll be continuing to chase, and this Hellion micro could be a problem right now. If he's able to line up those Speedlings, that's a major concern indeed. And let's see, Banelings popping on them. That was a kind of a waste, but he really wanted to stop those Hellions from pushing any further back. Right now, though, TAiLS knows what's going on. Look at that. He knows that Banelings are coming, and he is pretty scared shitless right now, I have to say. TAiLS heading his way back into the main base because he knows this Baneling bust is coming, and he just wants to make sure that he can protect his main. So there we go. We got some Banelings and Speedlings on the low ground. Siege Tech trying to come out, but it will be a while until that finishes. Banelings, please don't pop on that. There we go. There's no point in doing that at all. Let's see him go right into the main right now. This is going to be a problem. Banelings breaking right through without that Siege Tech. He doesn't have the advantage of splash damage from those tanks, and this is a huge problem. But there are a lot of Hellions in the main. That Siege Tank gets dropped, and the Hellions plus SCVs should be able to mop up the rest of these Speedlings. But more Speedlings streaming in and just going to be continuing to do some damage right now. Unbelievable, busting right through and delaying that expansion from mining for so very long. That was a lot of mining downtime there for TAiLS. He was forced to kind of heavily saturate that main, and we can see he lost quite a bit of SCVs as well, losing a total of 8 SCVs to that Speedling Baneling push there from Genius. Taking a quick look at the income tab. Genius is quite ahead in terms of gas being mined, but I'm just going to assume that, yeah, TAiLS isn't mining a lot of gas. He's really focused right now on getting up those minerals. He wants to, of course, resaturate that expansion. Now, he is going to try to take advantage of this a little bit of a window here. He's going to gain map control. I wouldn't be too surprised if he had attempted some harass there, but as we can see, Genius is fully prepared for any Hellion harass. He does have those 2 spine crawlers up, and that is going to be very problematic for that small amount of Hellions to actually push up into. A couple of Overlords moving across the map, very dangerous. This one gets dropped there by just 2 Marines. And here we're going to see TAiLS actually push out with some counter aggression. He could very well try to set up a contain here. Does he have any SCVs moving with this bunch? No, it just looks like Hellions, a couple of Siege Tanks, and a few Marines as well. I would have liked to see a couple SCVs, so he could have set up quite a nice contain. That would have been a major issue for Genius to deal with, especially given the fact that he kind of had to drone up after that Speedling Baneling push. Didn't end up outright killing Genius. Didn't end up outright killing TAiLS, rather, is what I meant to say. So here we go, tanks setting up shop right now. We'll be shelling out those spine crawlers. For one reason or another, Genius decided not to pull that spine crawler back. Something he really should have done. Here come the roaches, though, and that is more than enough roaches to overwhelm this small number of tanks. And unfortunately for TAiLS, he's going to be losing all those forces there. As you can see, Genius quickly taking out those tanks, and those Hellions very frightened of those roaches there, decided to pull back as well. Genius now working his way down into that 3rd expansion, precisely what he needs to do at the moment. Gonna take another look at the income tab. Mineral-wise, TAiLS is ahead, especially with Muling, and he's on the same number of bases as Genius, and that is not what Genius wants, so he needs to come out that 3rd very, very soon. And I actually wouldn't be too surprised if TAiLS did come out with a 3rd sometime soon himself as well. Not immediately, though, because he does want to try to defend against a counterattack, especially since he just got mopped up by those roaches there. Need to be very wary, but there is something in the works here. Genius with the Overlord drop. Will be dropping right inside of the main of TAiLS, and why is this a problem? Well, look at this. TAiLS just has these 2 tanks here defending the front, and these roaches are about to hit the backside, and Genius could do a lot of damage here. So here we go. Roaches dropping right in the main, and TAiLS forced to pull back with those SCVs, and the roaches starting to take some tank fire from over here. He should just be focusing back in this area. He's going to be going straight for those tanks right now. He will be taking hefty splash damage as he tries to funnel his way towards those tanks. There we go. That's what you need to do, Genius, pulling on back, and he should just take advantage of this opportunity to do lots of damage back here. We've got some Speedlings dropping in over here as well. A couple roaches trying to push up the front there, just taking massive amounts of damage. Here come those Speedlings. We'll be dropping right on top of those Hellions and tanks, and the big thing with this is he's going to force splash damage against that tank, getting a full surround on the tank. Roaches wreaking havoc on the rest of the units. We still have a couple of Hellions over here. This tank about to get taken out. A little bit of miss micro there by Genius. That wasn't the best use of his roaches. Kind of sitting clumped up in that area. Ended up taking a lot more damage than he really should have, in all honesty. But he has done a lot of damage himself. He stopped mining for so very long. He stopped the production of that, actually canceling off those supply depots. That could have been much better for Genius, so I think had he microed his units a little bit better, this could have been the victory here. But unfortunately now for Genius, TAiLS is still in the game. But here comes that Muta transition right now. We'll be working straight towards those Marines. Couple Speedlings dropping down in there as well. And there we go, TAiLS calling the GG. After breaking a small tank contain, we saw Genius push out with a roach drop inside of the main of TAiLS, and even though TAiLS was able to do a decent job of defending it, especially due to the fact that Genius had a little bit of miss micro clumping up his roaches like this, still we saw some continued follow-up by Genius, and also transition into mutas allowed him to get TAiLS to call the GG. Alright guys, that was game number 2 here between TAiLS and Genius. Moving on to game 3 in just a moment. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.